Women in particular, I think, need to be at the forefront of being clear why contraception is so anti-woman.
How does this affect religious liberty?
The argument is often made that these practices, such as contraception, sterilization, abortifacient pills, are standard medical care. And so if you're going to provide insurance for health care as part of your duty to provide these practices, that's just simply begging the question. That's logically it's saying what simply is not true. It is just not the case that doctors as a whole group agree that these practices are part of medical care. Medical care is treatment that promotes health, and health is really the harmonious psychosomatic functioning of a human being at both physical and psychic, so the psychosomatic functioning. Now, these procedures really do not promote the harmonious psychosomatic functioning of a human being, and so they are not really health procedures. The contraceptive pills, the sterilization, suppresses the functioning of a whole system. The abortifacient pills kill a human being. So these are not part of healthful functions. Now, and that's true whether they're morally right or morally wrong. So they're really not part of health functions. If someone wants to go and use condoms or use contraceptive pills, that's legal already, and we're not saying, okay, that should not be legal. What we are saying is that we think those actions are immoral, are objectively immoral, and therefore we do not want to be forced to pay for that. They want to say the women should have access to these, but the freedom to do something, say, in a country we say, well, people have free speech, they have the freedom of assembly, they have freedom of religion. That doesn't mean that we are required to fund those freedoms. I mean, just because someone has free speech doesn't mean that we have to buy them a printing press or we have to buy them a computer and so forth. So forcing religious people to fund these things that they think are immoral is a violation of religious liberty.
But why would the Catholic Church object to contraception?
I wanted to understand why anyone who managed a church of 1 billion people would actually risk something so obviously outdated and unpopular. So as I began to study, I found out a number of things. Number one, before 1930, all Protestant denominations of every stripe agreed with the Roman Catholic Church. And the Catholic Church's position had never changed from the beginning. Contraception, even though it may have been very backward and not very successful, absolutely the Church had taken a very solid stand that it was intrinsically evil and against natural law. This was not a Catholic teaching. This was actually a Christian teaching, and a united Christian teaching until 1930. And what happened in 1930 was the Lambeth Conference of Anglicans over in England decided that for the extreme reason that it could cost the mother her life and that a couple felt they were unable to abstain for the rest of their lives, which would be their only other option, you could have contraception just for that slim reason. And from that, up to the present time, every major denomination has not just sanctioned contraception, but most non-Catholic denominations have sanctioned abortion, and in some cases for all 9 months, for all reasons, and demanding federal funding of it. So before 1930, there's a united witness. What was that witness? The witness was that God called man and woman into being, making them in His image. In the image of the triune God, which is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit in a communion of life-giving lovers. And this communion of life-giving, self-donating love called us to reflect the triune God in our marriages, so that the very first command is both a blessing and a command. from Genesis 1:27, and God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth and subdue it and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the birds of the air and over every living thing that moves upon the earth. It was a part of our destiny from the very beginning as a reflection of who God is. This was not something tacked on by the Catholic Church trying to barge into people's bedrooms and say, you know, you're going to crank out those babies. It was the truth that was supposed to set marriage free. And part of what Jesus restores is not only individual salvation, but restoring the original design and beauty of marriage. Jesus said in another context, but it applies well here, you shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. He is the one who designed marriage. It's not up to us to come up with a political definition of it. He designed it. It is one man, one woman for life. And in that context, they yield their bodies in love to each other, and they receive each other. And in that giving and reception, God may create new life.
Isn't contraception liberating to women?
Have you caught the commercials where they have the couples that look so beautiful and they're dancing or they're playing the piano or they're doing something fun together, and it's talking about one of the particular oral contraceptives, and then in the midst of all this beauty and beautiful music, it says risks include heart attack, stroke, cancer, death, and it's going on, and yet all you're really paying attention to is this lovely couple whose relationship obviously is greatly enhanced by the use of contraception. But if you listen to the words, I would love to challenge any man. What self-respecting man are you? That in order for you to be free of the burden of a child that in your eyes is how you see it, you are asking your wife to risk heart attack, stroke, cancer, and possibly death, all because you want spontaneity and you don't want the consequences of your actions. What expression of love is this? This is what has led to using women. This is what has enabled more women to be used in terms of fornication, to be drawn into adultery, to be sexually abused, and now we know it's rampant in the sex slave trade. Contraception has become a tool where there are men misusing women, and all the while you have women running around trying to convince other women this is what sets you free. It is not what sets women free.
But contraception is a normal part of women's health care, right? Why would the church object to something that everybody uses?
I would say fundamentally you really haven't understood the issue. The Health and Human Services mandate is targeted against every American. It is saying to us that the freedom of religion that was the very reason our forebears came to this land and was ensconced into the Constitution by our founding fathers, what they are saying is this is being changed to a freedom for worship. You can worship whatever way you want. You go into a building and you do your thing, but when you come out, you are not an American Catholic or an American Presbyterian or American Methodist. You are an American, and so you will do our bidding. Your conscience doesn't matter. We have always valued conscience. Even in war, we allow conscientious objectors who are true objectors to not go to war. Why? Because it is fundamentally against their belief system. There's no question about what the Roman Catholic belief system is in regards to contraception, sterilization, and abortion. And yet, they would require us to give our money to an insurance company mandating that coverage. We believe it's evil. We believe it's immoral. It is not possible for us to become participants, which is what we would do.